Welcome to Absolute Counter Episode 2.
Reviews, sure they matter.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Absolute Counter. This is Darkscream.
And this is Magus. We're
And
back again.
I'm just going to get straight to the fucking brass tacks. Okay, following from last week's episode. Oh, and he's got a new microphone, by the way, guys. He sounds a lot better.
Yeah, it works.
You got that's obvious. But let's get straight to it. You told me to check out this piece of crap game called, game air quotes, called Florence.
Hold on. Before you go forward, as you know, we recorded the episode, right? When I ranted about it. And then afterwards, I did a rant on Florence, which came out before our podcast episode.
Yeah, but we recorded that Florence rant before you made that video.
Yeah. And I urged Darkscream to go see it for himself, to see the abomination of this overrated piece of shit. And what did you see, Darkscream? Did you see an abomination?
Yes. Okay, let me just give you my thoughts since you pretty much said everything. You only told me to watch the first 5 minutes. Now, if I disagreed with you, I would have continued, but I stopped right at the 5-minute mark. It's like at the beginning of chapter 3, because the first 2 chapters told me nothing about the character. The first chapter is she gets up and then she goes to work, and that the only thing the fucking chapter told me was she goes to work. She doesn't tell me if she loves the job, she hates the job, or she's just content with it. And then chapter 2, she gets some flashbacks about her strict mother, strict upbringing, and that she looks at a photo, and apparently it also told us that she had friends back in the day. And that's about it. And I'm like, well, you didn't do a good job starting at this. This is I've lost interest. Oh, and the quote unquote gameplay. Imagine the most boring, mundane gameplay mechanics in those Quantic Dream David Cage games, because they still have you doing things like take out the garbage and brush your teeth. That is the gameplay to Florence. Like, the first thing you do is like hit a button to knock out an alarm, brush your teeth. It's not necessary. This could have just been a visual webcomic, but no, it thought it was a game. And
it's not.
It's not. It really isn't. The interaction is just pointless, and it feels like a waste of time. You could have saved some time if you didn't have to do that.
Exactly. And let me add something to what you said before you continue. A game, whether it's a board game, a card game, anything, even something like poker, every game has one crucial element that you need, and it's choice. Okay, and especially in a video game. And when I talk about video games, I don't just talk about like a BioWare, do you sleep with this person or not? That's a choice for sure. But I'm talking about choice in the mechanics. Like, say, for example, Mario. Do you use a fire flower or use the fucking Tanuki suit? Both can effectively help you, but it's a choice you have to make ultimately.
Yeah. This game just really does have choice. Either you brush your teeth or you don't see the next panel. And I'm good.
Let me shake my phone. Hooray. And what about that shitty art style?
It looks like grade school artwork. I had nothing to like go off and complain about, really. It's whatever to me. But
you got to agree the music is the only good thing, though.
Yeah, the music was fine, but I don't even remember it.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I saw this almost 2 weeks ago, immediately after we recorded our first episode. And I had no interest to see it. I didn't want to hear what anyone else said about this game, because I'm pretty sure they're all saying things like, it is such a wonderful, beautiful, visually appealing masterpiece. This
You're absolutely right.
Proves that you don't have to kill people in video games.
Exactly. That's what they're fucking saying. And I'm like, this is not a fucking game. Look, I'm not saying that you can't make a game without killing.
Oh, okay? No, I can actually list a few fucking games. The people who say that never played video games.
Exactly.
I'm going too loud.
No. It's fine, because this game infuriates me too. It should not exist. It's a piece of shit, and it's full of SJW shit too. Because as far as you got, I watched the whole fucking thing for whatever reason, so I could fucking rip it apart, I suppose. Let's make these two ethnic characters but not really talk about their ethnicity. Like let's go back to the childhood. Did that say anything about Florence being Asian?
No. She could look like any other race in that game that isn't dark skin, African, or Indian. She could be Caucasian. She could be Asian. She could be freaking European. She didn't look Asian. Nothing about that stuck out.
The only reason you know she's Asian is because there are talk dialogues with her mom that are in Chinese.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's it. Or Cantonese or Mandarin for the politically correct. My fucking bad. I can't say Chinese anymore. Oh, fuck you. I'll say Chinese. But what I'm saying, regardless, is, dude, this game is so embarrassing. I don't know how. Yeah, air quotes. Thank you. This thing, we'll call it a thing, a disgusting abomination to the video game world. If we get more things like this, which as popular as it was, I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to start fucking blurring the line between games. And we don't need that.
It's funny that's popular because I never heard about this damn thing until you brought it up. And I play some very obscure niche shit nobody else hears about.
Oh, yeah, you and I both. But here's the thing, though, dude. The only reason I heard about it was back in December. I was looking through my iPhone app store, and it was in the apps of the year. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it looked okay. I guess it was a love story. And I like, it's a love story that's a game. And I'm a romantic. I'm not going to deny that. I fucking get sad about Final Fantasy X all the time. But I got intrigued by it at first. But then I saw the fucking thing, and it looked fucking stupid. So my problem is we're going to get games like this. And then Emily is Away is another one, the original at least, where they're going to make these romantic games, but the ending doesn't matter. And in Florence, they fucking break up. And you don't have a choice over that.
Yeah. Anyways, dude, we're like 7 minutes in. I kind of want to just let go.
Yeah, well, let's... Yeah, didn't you want to talk about Persona? The Persona announcement. Let's talk about actual games where choice matters.
And then I'll talk about what we played this week. We're gonna actually save what you're gonna talk about because that'll be the subject of next week's episode. Well, next episode, 2 weeks. 4 weeks from now. But we are recording next week. But we'll get to news. There's probably people wanting our opinions on certain news topics. I can't bring them all up for now, but let's talk about the big one everyone wants us to talk about. Probably Persona 5R and Persona 5 S got announced. We'll talk about Persona 5R first because that's more to talk about. Well, I saw the trailer to that, and it's basically Persona 5 with an expansion. What people thought Persona 5 Crimson was going to be.
Right.
It's that. It's going to be additional hours of a new campaign. I think a whole new semester is added onto this game. Little new contents. It seems there's going to be like new either team up attacks or all out attacks because there's like a finish that what's her name Haru does with Morgana with a bazooka or something on a bus.
Right.
They obviously there's going to be new content, possibly new confidants, and a new party member. Now this is what I heard from another podcast. I didn't get the complete details. In fact, let's see if I can try to pull that up while I'm still rambling here. But the new party member I heard is going to be her backstory is that she's a student counselor that is counseling some students regarding a particular incident involving one teacher there. You know what I'm talking about.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's going to be the new party member. Her design looks great, but I'm still skeptic on how she's going to be at the end point, like what her character is, what her personality is.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. As Persona 3 Fez and Persona 4 Golden, they are great expansions and they are worth playing over the original. Well, actually, I think I prefer Persona 3 Portable more.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I know which teacher you're talking about.
The additional content, the additional characters in each of those games were just nothing to write home about. Nobody remembers who the hell Metis is. And Marie was kind of a douchey tsundere. I didn't really like her all that much. I mean,
I liked Marie.
I liked that she added a new content and new personas to collect, and I even like her dungeon and the boss battle. It's just her herself just comes off as like a preachy poet tsundere character. She was hard for me to get to put up with.
Right. Let me tell you this though. Have you played the original version of
Oh yeah,
Persona
I
4?
played it like 3 months before I played Golden.
Okay. I let's just not disregard, but let's set your feelings for Maria aside, okay?
Yeah.
Just okay. And I think we both can agree on this point, possibly. And if you don't, that's cool. Don't you think that content was added seamlessly? That it didn't feel like it was clunky or anything, and it flowed with the original narrative?
Yeah, it felt like you could play this game and it would feel more like the original version. It didn't feel
Okay.
tacked on.
Yeah, that's what. Now, mind you, I've never played the original version of Persona 3.
All right.
Okay. I played Fez, but people who have played the original version of Persona 3 have told me that Fez, not the, extra episode, because the extra episode that you can select in the menu, they say that feels tacked on. But the additional content added to the main game
Yeah.
feels organic. So it seems like Atlas has this history of expanding their Persona games seamlessly without it feeling tacked on.
Here's the thing, I don't know what additional stuff they added in the main game for Fez other than possible personas. I think the story might have been the same. I don't know if they added anything else.
I think someone told me that they added some scenes involving the romantic romance that Junpei gets into.
Oh, okay.
There's stuff like that. I think there's more into Akihiko, and I think, was it Ryuji, the guy who gets killed?
No, that's that.
What's his name?
His name was Ryoji, but the guy you're thinking about is Shinji.
Shinji. Okay. Yeah. So with Shinji in that, they added some more scenes. I think they added some more scenes to the social links. I think there might be some added social links.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't look too extensively between the updates. All I know is that they did slap in an epilogue chapter. And
Yeah.
that was also hit or miss for me.
But, it was hit or miss for a lot of people.
I do have hopes for Persona 5 Royal. I really hope I can import my save, just like I heard Fez, you can also do that with the vanilla Persona 3. I hope
Yes, you can.
Okay, because I'm all set for a new Game Plus just to play that game all over again and experience the new content. So yeah, that's the Persona 5 Royal. Now, the somewhat more disappointing news. Persona 5 S came out, and there were rumors going on that was going to be a Switch port of vanilla Persona 5
right.
for the Nintendo Switch. This rumor is based on the fact that while Catherine Full Body is coming out here, the original Catherine is on Steam, is on PC. So they thought, okay, they're just going to port the weaker versions, which I find kind of pointless. I say just port the latest and greatest.
I agree. I wouldn't have bought it.
It wasn't that after all. And yeah, I might have bought it there too. But it wasn't that after all. It was another fucking Muso game.
Yeah, I don't do well with Muso games, as you know.
Yeah, you remember in Persona 5 when you have to like slash your way through hundreds of thousands of shadows? Yeah, me neither. Why is this here? Like I'd rather.
Yeah, I don't do Muso games. I don't do Hyrule Warriors. I don't do Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, I love those games.
Oh, I know you do.
I love them. I love Dynasty Warriors. Well, I heard 9 was a big pile of shit. I still play Hyrule Warriors. I think that's one of the best ones.
Okay.
And I love Dynasty Warriors Gundam, but there's no point with the Persona 5 being a Muso spinoff other than the fact that it's because that genre is super popular in Japan, but that's really not a good enough reason to hold weight. I'd rather have a Persona 5 Gotoku game, which is basically Persona 5 with a Yakuza engine.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Possible. You're owned by Sega. They own both Atlas and RGG Studio.
You're really wound up about this, huh?
I don't know. I'd rather a Switch port for the Nintendo boys so they can experience this wonderful RPG. If they use this as some stupid measuring tool to find out whether or not are you guys interested in a port for your Nintendo handheld, that'd be so fucking stupid.
It is stupid.
Just give them the game. It's probably some bullshit. It's got to be something on Sony's hands. They're probably grabbing Atlas by the testicles. and contractually they can only make it PlayStation exclusives because they're getting shit from PC gamers too. There are PC gamers that want those games on there. But and even though Atlas is aware of this because they've been emulating it over there, but they've been shutting them down, there hasn't been any talk or word about potential Steam releases, and that's actually pretty disappointing because I even want the PC gamers to experience this RPG.
Same here.
If that was the case, I would actually gift my PC gaming friend this game if it ever came over there. But so yeah, that's the news for.
You know, it's funny. My kid beat that game finally this weekend.
Nice. What do you think?
He loves it. It's one of his favorite games. Now his phone has the main character, Akira. You know what he did? He thought the main character's default name was Ren, but then he found out it was Akira. So he restarted his new game plus with the name Akira.
Huh.
Yeah.
I went through Persona 4 with the main character's name, Yu Narukami.
Also, I know you want to talk about this. Let's if you don't mind switching topics, let's briefly talk about next week's topic just for a moment, okay?
All right.
Trails of Cold Steel. We're gonna do a whole episode on the first game because I'm getting through that one and I should have it beaten by next week, hopefully.
Yeah, because the game's coming out on June 4th. That's another good story.
Yeah. And yeah, the June 4th is the second one, which is cool because if I beat it in the next week, I don't have to wait that long. I love the game. I still think the voice acting is shit, but this is where it's going to get funny. My kid confronted me about this issue, Darkscream, like you did.
Mm-hmm.
The voice acting is not that bad, he said.
Dude, that's 3 people are telling you that.
I don't like it though. Some of those characters, I just don't like it. I guess that's more. Some of them sound stiff. Like Reen sounds a little too stiff in the English version, and his Japanese counterpart's a lot more lively.
Man, that's where I'm going to disagree with you, especially once you get to the end of the game. You can't tell me that's stiff acting. I can't tell you because huge fucking spoilers.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm even trying to tell you and your son, do not look up any trailers for the PS4 game, PS4 version.
No, I haven't. I haven't looked.
That's giant spoilers too in itself. It's basically, It's basically watching that Spider-Man trailer that's out now without watching Endgame.
Okay.
Yeah, it's similar to that level. But yeah, I don't know. I thought the voice acting was great, and even some of those voice actors are also on Persona 5. Like Reed's voice actor is the same as that Social Link, the one that creates the website.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Anyway, no, I do know. Look. Let me argue something. You know who Matt Mercer is, right? Of course, I'm sure you do. Everyone knows who the fuck he is. You know, he's now more famous for Critical Role than anything else. But he's a fantastic voice actor. But you look at his work in Star Ocean 4, The Last Hope, and he fucking sucks at it. But you look at his work in Persona 5, and it's awesome. It's just that maybe some actors have bad days and good days, and maybe that voice actor had a bad day for me, in my opinion, in Trails of Cold Steel. So I do know. But we'll debate this next week, because we have a main topic to hit, right?
Right, and I haven't talked about the other games I've
played. Go ahead, because I know you have some stuff.
Yeah, we are near the 20-minute mark. So I actually played a little more of the visual novel Our World Is Ended. I don't know how long I have to go, but I'm about 20 hours in. And the game actually doesn't pick up until 10 hours in, because the first 10 hours are kind of, how should I put this? Just full of cringy anime tropes of the current decade. I mean, one of the main characters is a pervy programmer. The other one is your typical a-hole tsundere character, and I would have put up with that, but she's a Shotokan. And then the first time they get sent into the world, they have to like fight this weird monster, while a protagonist that they developed for a game a long time ago is the most pervy, silly thing ever. And there was not a whole lot of story going on, but like after the 10-hour mark, that's when things got really good. And I was like, okay, I'm sticking through this, because I didn't even know if I was going to stick through with it. And I want to beat that game so I can move on to the next visual novel. And it came out this week. I haven't purchased it yet, but the game is called, and I know the titles are similar, but it's a completely different game. World End Syndrome. World End Syndrome is more horror focused than sci-fi focused. And
Gotcha.
and it has like the character artist from Blaze Blue behind it, even though the characters are more contemporarily and realistically designed. By realistically, I mean they don't look like gaudy RPG characters like Blaze Blue does. And the story behind that one is that a tragedy happens with the main character's sister. He moves to a new town, but that new town has a weird thing going on where every 100 years the dead come back, get their revenge or some shit. Sounds like something my cup of tea because it reminds me of Higurashi. So I want to check that out. And if anyone else has seen it, please don't say anything in the comment section or anything. I am going to purchase this game regardless of what the people say regardless of the reviews.
Right.
And by the time we record this, Golden Week sale was already 2 weeks old. For Steam, I picked up another visual novel. It's on Steam and PS4. I don't know if it's going to have a Switch port. It should. I think a lot of things need Switch ports.
I do too.
I've turned into that guy now. I'm sorry.
I am that guy. So yeah, you and I both were fucked.
This other visual novel I picked up is called 428 Shibuya Scramble. It's weird because I think the game is live action. It's a live action visual novel. If you look at trailers, it's all live action footage. All of it. So, but I don't know anything about that. I might play like an hour of it later on today. Who knows?
Gotcha. Real quick before we move on, visual novels you've been playing, right?
Right.
Those are fucking games, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Just hammering our point from our first topic. Just saying.
I know a lot of people shit on them, but yeah, I get invested in them, and sometimes they are better than the adaptations they get.
Let's just say this to any Florence defenders out there. If you say a visual novel's not a game and Florence is a game, you might want to fucking look yourself in the goddamn mirror and I'm saying this as a dickhead because this is the truth. You might want to reevaluate what you think a fucking game is because shaking your phone just to see another panel is not choice. It's forced upon you. But making a decision on who you want to date or going into some door or something in the visual novel is a choice. So figure that the fuck out before you start harping on something. Because I've seen some Florence fans harp on visual novels, but their precious Florence can go fuck itself. The end.
Oh, wow. Well, that is pretty hypocritical of them. All right. We're a little bit over.
It's fine.
Let's move on to our topic. We named our episode "Reviews Should They Matter," and I was the one who came up with this topic because Magus said find something hard hitting, whatever. And I throw that idea to him, and he said, "Yeah, let's do it." And I'm like, "Okay, that's episode 2." I made this topic because I don't look at reviews of most video games anymore. I just fucking wing it at this point based on what my preferences are because the best person to recommend things to me most of the time is myself.
Yeah.
And I believe that big time mainstream reviewers that you would find on IGN or GameSpot or Destructoid or whatever, most of these websites, not all of them, but most of them have developed over the past 7 years have developed this giant fucking wall between gamer and journalists to the point where we can't relate to these people anymore. We can't trust them. We can't trust their integrity. I mean, they could say this game's 10 out of 10, but you play this game, you go, I disagree. Feels more like a 6 out of 10. And that's why I just can't put my stock into them. Now, there are small-time reviewers out there, but even then, I don't always watch their videos, or if I try to cut to the end and see whether or not you recommend this game or not, because I just want to hear, buy this game, wait for a sale, buy it secondhand, or just avoid entirely.
Not a 5 out of 5 or a 7 out of 7 or anything.
Yeah, and if you are going to do things by points, I prefer a 5-point system on everything. It's just clear and more sense.
Right.
I mean, oddly enough, of all places, X-Play, remember that show?
Yeah.
I remember when they got an email or a couple of emails asking, why don't they do 10-point systems? Why is it always up to 5? And then Adam Sessler says this. I don't know what he said specifically, but he said something along the lines, okay, this one reviewer gave this game a 4 out of 10. that same reviewer gave this other game a 2 out of 10. What's the difference? They're both shitty games that are not worth your time.
Right.
I don't need. I really don't need that 10-point system. Anything that's like less than 7 is something I usually try to avoid.
And here, let me interject something. Here's the thing about point systems, if you don't mind, Darkscream.
Okay.
Whether it's a 10 or a 5, even a 5, I would agree is a little bit more accurate. But the tricky thing is that value to a person on a whole other level is different, right? And I'm going to go to my go-to real quick. I'm going to go to Xenogears because that's my favorite game of all time. But I know, having played that game off and on over the years, I don't play it like every year because I don't want to burn myself out of it. But the more that I've played it, the more imperfect it is to me, okay? But it still remains my favorite game of all time, right? Because of the impact it had to me, okay? If you want to argue about how it's aged and stuff, someone can say a 6, that might be accurate, but to me, it's a 10 out of 10. The game's far from perfect. I'm not going to deny that. But a game is like a work of art. It can have an impact to you on a personal level. That's why review systems, I believe, on any scale for any term of media, sometimes can be arbitrary and not necessary because the work hits you on a personal level that's beyond a point system, if you can agree with that.
All right. Yeah, I do agree with that. How it affects you emotionally, how it affects your enjoyment value. Like, oh, I love this game because the core mechanics are super fun and I can spend hours on it. There's a lot of things to factor, but I just can't go through big time reviews. What I would do, whether or not if I'm looking for a reception, I just this is something I love about Steam.
Okay.
You just scroll down and see user reviews, and they just give you a straight recommended or not recommended. And I just like read like the first couple sentences of each. Like,
Right.
oh man. Like for example, 428, when I was thinking of purchasing that game, which was only $15, normal price is 50.
Right.
Some dude's like, oh man, this visual novel is great. I would put it up there with 999. And I'm like, well, I do love 999, so I'll play it and give it a shot. And if I disagree or if I dislike the game, $15. Thing is, you are going to get burned forever if you're a gamer who buys video games. You are always going to feel ripped off, whether or not you have the reviewers, whether or not you listen to a reviewer or not. There are people, I don't know what the reviews for Mortal Kombat 11 are, the big reviewers, but I'm pretty sure some of those guys don't trust them anymore because I heard Mortal Kombat 11 sprinkled in some fucking mobile cell phone game bullshit into their unlock.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I remember IGN, back when Street Fighter V Season 1 came out, they actually praised the game for its amount of content.
Look. You know I'm a defender of Street Fighter V.
No
right?
arcade mode, no story mode.
Right.
You can't
Hold on.
the CPU.
Right. The reason that I love Street Fighter V so much back then was because core mechanically it's a good game, but you cannot praise it for extra modes or content though. At that time. Now you probably can.
You can now. I mean,
you can. Oh yeah. Look at like their arcade mode that came out last year? That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But now, now you can. But back then, saying that it was full of content, the reason, like I said, the reason I liked it was because the core gameplay was just so fucking good. But saying that it had content and things to do is absolutely asinine, though, at that time.
God, I wish I could use this example, but I haven't played the game yet. But there are people who love the game God Hand. Which was this character action game for the PlayStation 2. I think it was published by Capcom, developed by Grasshopper. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
Very quirky game, very silly game. IGN gave it a 3 out of 10. Most people thought, wow, you guys were way off the mark. And it happens frequently. And so I just wing it. And if there are games that my mind is made up, I'm going to buy anyways, whether or not it's going to be good at the end. You can't change my mind or other people's minds. There were people. I have a friend who loves Mortal Kombat, the Mortal Kombat franchise.
Right.
Nothing. There was some news about that game before. Nothing was faltering him. He was going to pick up that game regardless.
Right. Right.
Those people are set. Me, I am usually on the fence on a lot of freaking games. Like early this year, I was still figuring out whether or not I should buy Dead or Alive 6. I love the game. I played the beta. The beta was fun. Still don't know if I feel like putting all my money into it or wait for a sale.
Right. And I haven't even bought it yet myself, and I love DOA. You know that.
Yeah. At the
And
end, I decided to wait for a sale, and my time waiting was paid off because a free-to-play version exists, Magus.
yeah, which I'm going to try.
4 characters. One of your Kasumi's, your main, is a playable character in the game. One of my mains, Hitomi, is playable. I've been playing as her nonstop ever since I picked up that version of the game.
Right.
And most of the single-player content is there. You can play arcade mode. You can play survival mode. I think you can play most of, if not all of, story mode.
Yeah. Let's be honest, too. I haven't bought DOA 6, and you can attest that I'm pretty fucking good at DOA.
Yeah.
I think that and Tekken are my strongest games. You would probably agree, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I never even bought it. I never even bought 6. Even with Tekken 7, we all know how much I loved Tekken 7, and whatnot. But I'll say this. Even then, I wasn't sure to get it after a little while.
I made up my mind, and I said I wasn't going to pick up Mortal Kombat 11, and I felt like I made the right call. And I felt I made the right call before because let's go through the past 4 NetherRealm games that have been released. Mortal Kombat 9.
Okay.
About a year later, they have the complete edition with all the DLC and all the DLC characters, all for $50 to $60. Injustice came out.
Same
later,
thing.
Injustice Legendary Edition, yes. Mortal Kombat X, then Mortal Kombat XL. Injustice 2 Legendary Edition, wherever it's called, the version I have. You see the pattern going on?
Yeah.
They're just going to re-release the game with all the DLC, and it's going to be like $50. I'm like, I don't want to pay $60 plus $30 for the additional content, and I do want almost every single content available. I'm just going to wait until I get this game for like $50 or wait even a little bit longer for sale because I have a giant backlog anyways. I can play something else, and I have a whole bunch of fighting games anyways. Plus, Samurai Showdown's coming out this year.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, these are the things that go through my mind when I'm thinking about whether or not I should pick up a game. I just don't impulse buy anymore. And that's the only thing I'm grateful for the downfall of the AAA games is that it's making gamers really think and assess their financial situation, whether or not they should just buy this game now or wait till it gets better.
Let's talk about something about this for a second, AAA games and the gaming media, because let's go back to my old days on YouTube. Remember when I used to attack the gaming media in my rants?
Yeah.
And a lot of people would defend it, like, Samuel Tagiku. I don't even think cares about video games anymore, but or at least much anyway, because he's all into politics. Good for him, though. But him and others would get mad at me because I would say there was a general bias against Japanese and niche games in the gaming media. And going back to what you said with God Eater or God Hand, I think I mixed that up with God Eater. Yeah, God Hand. Isn't God Eater an anime or something?
I think it has an anime adaptation, but God Eater is basically a Monster Hunter clone.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, going with God Hand, that was about 2006. That's when that bias started to hit. And that's when we lived in 7th gen, which we talked about last time. 7th gen wasn't the best gen. There are good games from it. We won't deny that, right, Darkscream? But it wasn't the best, and part of it was because the gaming media, and pardon my pun here, was sucking the dick off of AAA games.
Yeah, and it's loosened a little, or no, I don't think it's loosened a little. I think those same websites still have a bias towards them, but it's just
they do.
It's just that since then there have been rise to other websites and YouTubers and stuff that have actually been praising Japanese games.
Well, here's the thing: the Japanese
gotten old enough and vocalized their opinion, which is a good thing.
It's partially that. Let's be honest, though, the Japanese gamer, on the developers last gen, they didn't really step up their game. Let's be honest.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. So that was part of it. But also when, you had the gaming media praising that idiot. Actually, I was talking to Xander about this, that idiot Phil Fish. Remember who made that crap game Fez?
Yeah, the
Another
humanitarian of the year. Yeah, that guy.
the hipster doofus. Yeah, he said Japanese games suck and Western games are great, but the problem with him is his game is like a Japanese game. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not a very good game. But the media heightened that. I think one of the biggest turning points, and I'm not going to get into this debate, but I think one of the biggest turning points in how, because I love how gaming media is viewed these days. A lot of people with disdain, and it's, I mean, this sounds negative, but more people are making decisions for themselves, gaming wise, right?
Right.
I think the big turning point, regardless of what side you're on, and I'm not getting into it, Gamergate, regardless of what happened there and what the fuck happened, it really, a lot of people forget, it really opened eyes on aspects of gaming journalism.
I like to think that people's eyes were actually starting to open slightly before that.
They were. I'm not going to disagree with that, but
I'm
I
gonna
think
bring up
Gamergate was the
my
big
example. My example would be Mass Effect 3. Dude, I know you like that game. I
Yeah.
hate the ending was a big kick in the dick.
right.
But here's the thing, IGN was sucking that game off hard. Like when you go to their website, there were advertisements plastered all over the place. They gave it like a 9.8, 9.9. And when people were like, what the hell, man? This ending was total trash. They were the first people to come out and go, man, gamers are entitled these days. And
Well, they are, and I think that was a case of that. However,
I'm not going to look. I don't think the ending. I've seen worse endings than that. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I've seen worse game endings than that one.
it's a build up that's spanning 3 games.
I understand that, but still, it
I'll
wasn't. Hold on, it wasn't that bad though. But I think people overreacted to it. I think like doing shit like sending cupcakes to BioWare to prove a point and doing all the dumb. Because let's be honest, dude, they did some fucking stupid shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of the rise of social media, that's going to be the norm. Whenever you're going to have same vocal people express some concerns, there's always going to be either extremists or trolls that are just going to add fuel to the fire. And as a result, the opposing side is just going to it's just only they're just going to take that particular section, quarantine them, and say that paints everyone with a brush. And yeah, I know it should be viewed a little more open, but in order to win an argument, you have to make the other person look stupid. That's what people. Are you open up a candy bar or something?
no.
But let me ask you a question. I'm not opening up a candy bar. I don't know what you're hearing, but I'm going to tell you
like crunchy noises and static.
Well, I can tell you, I'm not opening a stuff. Don't worry about that. We'll worry about that later. I was going to tell you, you don't like the ending though to Mass Effect 3, the original ending, correct?
No.
Okay, but did you go and throw a bitch fit about it and such? Or did you move on to the next game?
No, I complained about it amongst my group of friends and said, yeah, it was dumb. And then another friend of mine's like, I don't think it's going to be that stupid. And then I talked to him like a couple days later. It's like, well, did you think the ending was dumb? He's like, yeah. So I had a conversation that went on for like a couple of weeks until the extended cut got announced.
But did you go on social media and act like a bitch about it though?
No, because I'm not that reactionary.
Exactly.
That's the problem. People are just way too flippant these days. Before you really I know you're going to get super angry, but cool off, let it process. Don't make an immediate reaction on Twitter. That will just make you look stupid.
And most people aren't going to listen to you though.
I know, because I barely get 100 views on these podcasts.
No, it's not even that. It's even if you did, no one would listen to you because people react. They'll say they won't, but they will. It's human nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're not. I think you're worth listening to.
Well, the thing is, whenever something bad happens to something I actually had faith into, it's like me going through like the stages of grief. So my first reaction wasn't that wasn't the worst thing ever. My reaction was to, okay, let's try to see this in the positive things. And then it turns into rage, but still I still wouldn't go on Twitter and I'd just go, accept it, it's crap. So yeah, I go from like denial to acceptance pretty fast.
Right. Now, let's go back to some game reviews about some stupid game reviews. You want to talk about that for a second?
Oh, well, one other thing I want to say is that
Okay, go ahead.
whenever I do need a recommendation or something from that I'm totally unsure about, there are some people I listen to. They're not reviewers; they're just other gamers with like-minded opinions. Like I listen to Castle Super Beast. I like Pat and Wooly. I think I can relate to those guys a lot. That whether or not what games they recommend, I'll give them a try. For example, I want to play the Ace Combat games now. I'm just going to wait for a sale.
Right.
Or I would listen to some of my friends. Another game I was skeptic on because I was worried because the development history was pretty worrisome later on after its E3 announcement was Doom 2016.
Mm.
Yeah, because they were advertising only the multiplayer shit. There was a review embargo. So all that made me go, oh no. But then I talked to my buddy Lance and he's like, oh, I'm playing some Doom. It's like, is it any good? And he's like, do you like the original Doom? You're gonna love this. So I'm like, great, I'll pick it up this weekend. And I did, and it was like one of my favorite games of 2016.
Oh, I know you love that game, and that's a good thing.
I know.
You know,
Can't wait for Doom Eternal.
I know, and hopefully it's the same for you. I'm not really into those type of games, but for you, it's great. I'll say this real quick. I want to go into this subject real quick. Stupid game reviews. What's the dumbest game review from a gaming website that you read that you can recall?
Oh boy. And even back then, but boy, like I said, that was like over a decade ago, and I would just read reviews, but I haven't seen any of them that's stupid because I don't look at reviews after I purchase a game.
Right.
You're gonna have to answer this. I got no answer.
Okay, I got two of them for you.
All right.
From the same guy. It's Tom something from GameSpot. That guy was a fucking moron. The first one was, and you may remember me going off about this back in the day, the Zelda the Skyward Sword review.
Yeah, you did a rant about way back when.
Okay. For those that don't know, Zelda Skyward Sword, albeit like any Zelda game, got praise. And of course, there's always one naysayer. In this case, it was GameSpot. And this guy bitched and bitched that the controllers sucked. But then later on admitted he wasn't using the controllers right, so they sucked for him, but wouldn't change the review score.
Yeah.
Isn't that stupid?
I mean, you should try to play it to the best caliber you can. I mean, oh, well, it didn't play right, but I'm still going to say this game sucks. I'm like, I never like to use the term you're playing the game wrong, but you're probably playing the game wrong. And I'm not a big Zelda fan either, so.
See, I am, but still, you know, it's stupidity to say that it's stupidity to say that a game controls wrong when you're not using it right. It's like you playing with your control, you playing a game, say you play your Doom game with the controller upside down, and then say, oh, these controllers suck, but you were playing it wrong. That's on you, motherfucker.
Man, Super Smash Brothers suck. The controls are always reversed. Well, you're holding the controller upside down. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Number two, he did a review a couple months later because was it Xbox Live or was it PlayStation or both? They got a port of the Simpsons arcade game, right?
Oh yeah, that classic. I love that game.
Oh, I love that game too, and it was a great port. But remember, the Simpsons arcade game came out early in the lifespan of the Simpsons. So Simpsons was around in 89. The game came out right in 91, 92. I think I remember playing it in 91. Whatever. It was still early in the life of the Simpsons. He gave it a low score because it was not included characters that had been included in modern times of the Simpsons history.
Oh!
Exactly. Dude, that makes no sense. He gave it like a 6 because of that.
Dude, they were still using like the early 90s designs. Like Mr. Smithers still had blue hair in that game.
Yeah.
Like, dude, shouldn't that clue you off that, oh, this is probably made during like the Simpsons early golden age? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Fail. I don't say this anymore, but fail.
I don't know if that guy is still with GameSpot because that was about 8 years ago.
Okay,
7
now
years ago.
I started to remember 2 reviews of my own. I didn't really watch them, but I've heard people talk about them on Facebook. One of them is an updated version of Pokemon Sapphire.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about. I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
Somebody's detracted this game. One of the major points was there was too much water.
And yeah, I read about that. And And they said that it wasn't that water hurt the gameplay. It was just there was too much water. And who cares?
Like, I get it. There are some video games out there that have swimming mechanics, and it's a pain in the ass to do because it's always, most of the time, it's a bitch to handle. I know swimming in Witcher 3 was a pain in the ass for me, but you don't do that in a 2D Pokemon game. No, what? The second thing I'm going to mention is when the SNES Classic came out. I don't know who did this.
Okay.
I don't know if it was IGN or GameSpot, but somebody reviewed Star Fox 2. And tried to review it as if it was a modern game that came out today. Even though it was a game that was shelved over 20 fucking years ago.
It was
and
completed
it runs on Super NES hardware, and it shows, and you're still saying, man, the graphics and the control, they feel so outdated.
What?
Oh my god. Like, what did you expect? Star Fox Zero, but good?
Well, let me explain something. Star Fox Zero should get a bit of a pass because it was shelved. It was completed, right?
Well, shelved and complete are two different things.
Well, it was completed and shelved. It was never released, but it was completed. But you look at something like Duke Nukem Forever, which was in development and still had archaic gameplay from the 90s. The difference between that is it was, even though it was in limbo, it was still being developed on. And that shouldn't get a pass because it should be modernized. However, with something like with Star Fox, which is Star Fox 2, which is an unreleased game, you got to remember this game was not intended to be shelved and released in 2018 or 19 or whenever.
No, I think there was a rights dispute or something that caused them to shelve it. And then
something.
I don't know what happened, but they're like, okay, how do we sell a smaller version of the console? Why don't we just release that Star Fox game? Okay. And I played Star Fox 2, actually. I did. And I tried to play it with the mindset of a kid from 1996 or 95. I honestly think it was one of the good Star Fox games. And considering that the only good ones are Star Fox 64 and not just Star Fox 64, that's saying a lot.
And considering I actually like the Star Fox on DS. That was pretty good.
I didn't play much of that one.
That one was pretty good. I think it was Star Fox Assault. That was or is that weird GameCube one?
Assault was the GameCube one.
Okay,
could have been good, but it had some very archaic moments in the game.
Yeah. Anyway, but consider Star Fox 64, from what I understand, is a remake of Star Fox the original. So there you go.
That is true.
Yeah, but anyway, it's weird. Reviewers are. I don't think many of these gaming journalists deserve to be gaming journalists because, quite frankly, you read their review and they don't. They seem more. Look, we live in the strange day and age of geek culture, right?
Yeah.
And they seem more rooted into the geek culture as opposed to the gaming culture, which is a little different, right?
Right.
And I don't think they really understand it. That's the problem. The other problem you see with gaming sites, I don't know if you've noticed this, but why the fuck, if I were to go on GameStop, just GameSpot example, why would I see a review of last night's episode of Game of Thrones? Why? On GameSpot.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Also, if you do that without watching the episode, they're just going to spoil the hell out of it for you.
Well, yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying is, why am I seeing wrestling news on GameSpot? Why am I seeing?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a website called GameSpot. It's like putting live action shows into Cartoon Network. Oh wait, they did that a decade ago.
Right. Hey, look. IGN gets a pass from me because they've been doing it for years.
Also, it's short for ignorance.
Yeah, I don't like IGN, but I'm saying they can do the comic book reviews. I don't think they're good ones. I don't think they're very good reviewers in any sense, but they can do it because IGN has been doing that since like 2004, right? Or earlier. But when you go into something like those old dedicated game sites, like maybe a Destructoid or a Kotaku, which is also doing the same thing because I'm seeing Game of Thrones reviews on Kotaku for no reason. When you're a gaming website, what happened to the gaming website too? That's another problem. You don't need to be reviewing wrestling or Game of Thrones or Dungeons and Dragons shit.
They're just trying to play just a tiny bit devil's advocate.
Okay.
Their websites are probably failing because who knows? Maybe we're not in the minority in this. Maybe not many people will look at game reviews anymore. So they just try to grab the other stuff, try to do a variety of other stuff in order to get more clicks.
That's true, and I guess I kind of understand that, but it's still.
Yeah, I know. I don't agree
Yeah.
with it either, but I understand it.
Yeah. Look, the problem too with game reviews and even websites. Let me ask you this: is the website itself, the concept of a website, archaic? Because how many websites do you visit?
Let's see. There's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It's like I don't know, 10.
Okay. But remember back in the day, oh, I want Final Fantasy news. I'll go to the Final Fantasy fan site.
I wonder if those are still up.
I think they are, but they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, but the problem is they've migrated to Facebook and they have like a community group page and stuff like that where they update their news.
Mm.
And that's, to be honest, that's a lot more convenient. Like, do you remember back in the day too? You get like a movie would come out. Oh fuck, what is it? 99 episode. Okay, regardless of what you think of episode 1, let's go visit Star Wars episode 1, the website. Back then you would to get more info, right?
Right.
But now you don't because you have all these news sites throwing shit out. You have YouTube with all the media, and then you have Star Wars itself probably on Facebook with its own page.
And they're dropping trailers on YouTube, and then 30,000 people are going to make reviews and thoughts on the trailer.
Oh yeah.
Just like the Sonic movie.
Oh my God!
How much? See that?
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, was that so bad that the director actually came out and said, "Yeah, we heard your criticisms. We're gonna fix it." And I know that should be praised and admired because you are responding to criticism the correct way, unlike some people. That being said, my faith in you improving that design, quote unquote, is very minimal because what can you fix that won't make you go over budget or require you to delay the film?
Yeah, let's move on. How about that?
Anyways, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. And me saying I'm not trying to disregard what you say. I'm saying let's move on summarizes my thoughts, if you get my point. Right. Yeah. Anyway. What else I was going to say? I don't know. Oh, I think this does it though.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. Like I said, like I just go through word of mouth at this point. I can't, and that's another problem. You know what? Let's talk about one last thing. And this was something that most people back in the YouTube days that we were part of a decade ago are guilty of.
Yeah.
Dude, if you already bought a game and if you love it, I don't think you should be going onto these websites to take a look at their review scores because there is no point in doing so. The purpose of the reviews, anyways, was whether or not they should recommend a game to you. Why would you look up a review of something you already own?
Well, you know what, too? What I used to kind of have fun on that on a cynical level. I would say, yeah, this review was lower than what I enjoyed it, but I don't think you understood those points in the game quite well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. They're going to debate with these people, but those people won't listen. They're not going to listen to what your insight at all. Some of these big name reviewers have their heads so far up their asses, and they're just going to like insult you and block you everywhere.
Right.
There's no point bothering. The only other thing I can think of is that you can make a counterpoint review on your own channel, or whatever. But even then, I wouldn't even bother that much. And that's mostly for game reviews I still watch film reviews because I can at least sit through 2 hours of a movie, but like a video game review is a little more complex in what you need out of a game because those things are at least 5 to 10 hours long, or most of the time more. I don't know where I was going with this. But I was basically saying that, I just don't know if I could sit through reviews nowadays. I know there's going to be people in the comment section recommending this YouTuber and that YouTuber. It doesn't matter. I'll wing it. I mean, I bought Valkyrie Revolution. That game's a pile of shit. I could just accept it and move on.
But you bought Valkyrie Chronicles 4 and you enjoyed it.
Yes, that game is still really good.
See, so there you go. Same franchise, but and that's true of anything
if you're that unsure, just wait for a price drop. Those things happen faster than you think. Time is going to move super fast when you get older. That's sad.
I usually trust my friends, and I'll look at gameplay to see how a game is, and I'll judge it myself. And that's what I usually do. I don't follow game reviews because, for example, the Tales games I enjoy don't get very good reviews, but I think they're much better than the 6s they get from IGN.com. So there you go.
No, you were right the first time.
I know. Thank you. All right. So, Darkscream, where can they find you, good sir?
Well, they can find me on my YouTube channel, Darkscream. Or if you put in URL, it should be youtube.com/user/Darkscream217. But I just I dropped the number on my main channel name. And they can find you on youtube.com/MagusX1.
Right.
But you're just still known as Magus.
Still known as Magus. I've uploaded some videos recently. I'm doing the other podcast with Xander, which is Blast Podcasting, which you can find on his channel, XS Gaming on YouTube. But you can also find it on mine. We uploaded on both, which we're doing with this one as well. So, and on my channel, you'll find those two podcasts and my random rant videos, including if you want to hear more hatred about Florence, go watch my newest rant, which you won't regret, right, Darkscream?
Yeah, if you could tolerate old school phone calls quality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, I even admit it, but hey, I'll be using this mic from now on. Good. So there you go.
As for my channel, I am going to try to get that Gundam X review out, and I think this episode is going to be uploaded afterwards, but I am going to talk about Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and maybe stream that game in the same day, but I'm pretty sure we're going to upload this episode 2 days after that video, so if you haven't seen it already, just look at my old video backlog and find it. But yeah,
okay.
I think that is everything. Just trust your instincts on this one. If you're like 20 years or older, you know what you like.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, some games they may bash. Sekiro may be too hard, but I don't know. You might find those games easy, and you just realize, maybe those games are meant for me, but not for everybody. And that's another thing. Not everybody's going to like JRPGs. I know that much. But the ones that do, they're going to love it more than they're going to love Western RPGs.
Let me reiterate something, too. We live in a day and age where we were talking about earlier, even in this episode, that last gen was really a AAA slogfest, right?
Right.
This gen, there's not. I mean, there are AAA games for people who like those. There are indie games for those who like them. There are PC games, classic style PC games. There's a lot of JRPGs, a lot of quality JRPGs, a lot of quality platformers, a lot of quality of everything. Pretty much all. And we live in a day and age where pretty much, we saw genres like adventure games and beat 'em ups kind of go the wayside. All genres are pretty much back up in one way or the other.
Yeah.
So there's something for everyone.
But not everyone's going to like everything.
Exactly, and that's the point. That's why this gen is so great, So, anyway, shall we call it?
Yeah, we'll call it. Hope to see you guys during the next episode. This is Darkscream signing out.
And Magus out.